Good morning, everyone. It's Cassandra Williamson, Executive Director for Transgender Diversity of America Action Group and our non-action group side. But primarily on this show, it's all about activism and advocacy and policy and legislation and all kinds of government-related stuff. So welcome to the show, folks. Welcome to the show. So glad you're here with us. And I want to tell you that this is an interesting day. Right now, the Senate just finished up voting on limiting debate on the appointment of Admiral Lisa Van Franchetti as the CNO, the Chief of Naval Operations. I'm glad to see that going through, but I don't know what's going to happen after they limited the vote on debate. We'll see. I watch them over on C-SPAN occasionally, and it's pretty boring most times. Anyway, so yeah, let me make sure I have this disclaimer out there so everyone understands exactly what's going on here. One is, like I said, this is our action group side. And if you're in here and you're under 18 years of age, please leave, please leave, please leave. You have no business being in here. And the opinions and views expressed here are solely those of me, myself, and I. Just me, nobody else, not an organization, not an agency, department, or anything. It's just me. What you get is me. Because I know that a lot of people don't always agree with everything I say, and obviously I also have a lot to learn. So I'm always open to learn. So it's been a really interesting news morning today. Let me just go take a look. Let's see. Let me go see if I can find it really quickly. Hold on a minute. Go find that page where I need to be. And yeah, let's go there. Hold on one second. I just found it. Okay. I found it. I know where we are. Let's go over and present from that page. Just go to round up of the news for the day. Okay, so, well, what you're looking at is where I started looking at C-SPAN. Let's go see if there's anything going on in C-SPAN at the moment. Live Senate session begins airing 9. Okay, they've already done that one. Anyway, let's go out of there. Click out of that. And this came out yesterday, 18 hours ago. It's from Business Insider. Tuberville says Republicans should hold off aid to Israel until the U.S.-Mexico border is addressed. If we don't do something, you don't get anything. Coach, come back. Go back to Florida. That's where your house is at. Go back to Florida. Stay there. We don't need you in Congress, in the Senate, representing us, because what you're doing is an asinine thing. Oh, my God, is it so ever? Okay, so let's just go check out some news. This is from Microsoft Start, Microsoft Bing, and my news feed. Let me go back so I can see the first one just quickly. Jewish Cornell students are afraid so much for college diversity, equity, inclusion. That's USA Today. No, that's a false connection, false narrative right there to just start off with. Yes, the students are afraid, absolutely, but that has nothing to do with diversity, equity, inclusion. What it has to do with anti-Semitism and hatred for those who are different from someone else. That's not about this whole concept of diversity, equity, inclusion, folks. It's about the hate in people's hearts for another group of people. So much so that they actually want to delete them and erase them from the entire world. It's not just from Israel. There are anti-Semites out there right here in this country, some of them on our campuses. And I'm going to tell you, they are there. Obviously, one was arrested at Cornell this morning, I think it was, or pretty recently anyway. A student there making violent threats against the Jewish students on campus. I'm going to tell you, that is absolutely atrocious. We absolutely must stop that. When somebody makes a violent threat against another group, another person, or another group of people, then it needs to be addressed quickly. However, that is not to say that I do not support free speech. I do support free speech. I don't believe in any and very many restrictions on that. There are limitations. No human right is absolute. We all know that. It's actually, you can't yell fire in the theater. You can't go yell bomb on a plane, train, or a ship, or anything like that. You can't do that. There are limits on that right. And the limit here in this case is whenever you make a threat against another person or group of people, then you've gone over that bridge. You've gone too far off that bridge, okay? Free speech, one thing. There's a lot of stuff being said on campuses in these protests. There's a lot of stuff being said around the world that I am strongly opposed to. Strongly opposed to. Just as a decent human being, it just rubs me the wrong way, okay? But if you're doing these kind of things in the U.S., you have a right to say those things. But the moment you cross that line of actually saying, go do this to another group, or we should be doing that to another group of people, then you have crossed the line and you've gone way too far over there. Free speech? Absolutely. As much as I hate some of the messaging that's being sent, okay? Across college campuses, but they have a right to protest. As long as it's not violent. Oh, excuse me. I think maybe I need a drink of, I've got some hot chocolate right here in this cup, you know. Let me stir it up just a little bit. Oh, I got to get some of this down. Okay. Ooh, that is so good. It is chilly down here in lower Alabama. Anyway, so that's the first story, and obviously that just gets me all riled up because that's a false correlation to say that what they're saying here. Jewish Cornell students are afraid so much for college diversity, equity, inclusion. Jeez. Let me just see what the article actually says. Who wrote it? Ingrid Jocks with USA Today 20 hours ago. Okay. Well, okay. I'm not going to delve into that thing. The headline is wrong. You need to rewrite it. That's okay. Let's scroll on over across the neighborhood. Opinion. There's a smarter way to eliminate Hamas. Let's see. What is that smarter way? All right. Robert Pape, professor of political science and director of the University of Chicago Project on Security and Threats. He's author of several books. Israel's strategy between must destroy its Israel. Okay, it's unlikely to work. Yeah, we know. We know, because basically what it'll end up doing is radicalizing a whole group of other people. We know that. But what's the solution? Well, I can tell you what I think the solution will be, regardless of what Professor Pape says. I think that you're going to have to get the good Palestinian people to rise up and cast out Hamas. You've got to start putting the focus on this terrorist group called Hamas. And you've got to get the people there in that country, in that space, in that area to rise up and say, no, it's enough, stop. We want to live in peace and prosperity and security. But Hamas is not going to allow that because their goal is destruction of Israel and Jewish people. They're very focused on just that part. But if they accomplish it, then the next goal is destruction of Jewish people all around the world. Okay, whatever. All right, so let's go. All right, rise of the robots. I'm not going to go there. We are getting close. Ex-Trump official calls on fundamentalist Christians to heed the call to arms. What the hell? Oh, my God. Far-right evangelical firebrand William Wolf, also served as senior Trump administration official, recently gave a speech suggesting his fellow fundamentalist Christians should prepare for war. I know that's a trope that comes out of the evangelical side all the time. They're always saying that you got to be ready for war. You got the warfare, there's the spiritual warfare and all that kind of stuff. Well, he's taking it down to another level, bringing it right down to the physical realm, folks. Yep. Jesus and political conference. Hell to Jesus. If that's not fascism, folks, if that's not authoritarian, theocratic fascism, what the hell is it? You tell me, okay? All right. The Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense and Director of Legislative Affairs at Trump's State Department boasted his remarks by repeatedly quoting from a 1758 sermon delivered by Virginia Pastor Samuel Davies. That sermon, I'm going to read this for just a second. That sermon, delivered in the midst of the French and Indian War, was dubbed the curse of cowardice. Davies warned Christians that they were in danger by the loss of our religion. Wow, that's 1758. That's a letter I haven't read back then. That the art of war becomes a part of our religion. Another abyss follower. Okay, let me just go back. This is asinine. But yeah, the thing is, though, they have that power to do this. They have the power to actually rally those people up and do it. And we're going to sit back here and pretend that we got our heads stuck in the sand and do nothing? You're kidding. I had a wonderful conversation with several people this morning, actually, on the phone. They called and we've talked, chatted for a minute. And yeah, one person is adamantly supportive of me going out and going, hey, when they go low, we get in the ditch with them and start fighting, because if we don't, we're going to lose. And another, the exact opposite thought was presented by someone else who said, but when they go low, we should go high. And, you know, I'm inclined to let's go get dirty and get this thing done. We need to go high in certain areas, in certain ways. There's a balance between this, but my gosh, whenever they're actually trying to cut your legs out from under you, then you can't go high. They're going to cut your legs out from under you. Oh, wow. That's what this guy wants to do. Shame on him. That's some heck of a Christian right there. But let me just tell you this. I want to make it very clear to everyone. The people pushing these kind of things here in this country, they are Americans. I don't want to hear anyone on our side go around and say that these people are un-American or not American enough or anything like that. They are Americans. They're entitled to their point of view, and they have every right to say and believe these things. But here's the difference, though. You know, they're operationalizing what they're saying. It's call to arms. You know, erase and delete and excise people from words from the whole government that identifies the minorities in this country. Every American is under threat by this kind of stuff, folks. Every person in this country. We've got people out there wanting to cut back on all your Social Security benefits and your Medicaid benefits and, you know, SNAP benefits and all that kind of stuff, not realizing that those are the things that lift people up and allow them at least the opportunity to do better in their lives if they can. A lot of it, though, is, no, I don't want to go into that. Chasing a squirrel, somebody. Anti-trans law forces engineer to quit job helping NASA with moon missions. What? From Futurism, let me go see if this is just satire. What? Maggie Harrison. NASA's Artemis mission, which is seek to put humans on the moon first time in months, has been built as a feat of diversity in a historically hegemonic field. But while the crew of Artemis 2 and 3 both see their fair share of diversity first, okay, well, right there. Robin Witt, I don't know if this is actually true or not. It's futurism, but sometimes I can't tell if what they're saying is satire and what they're saying is actually a good news story. So let me just skip on past that one since I have no way of verifying anything. But they just said 70-year-old engineer designed, that's an ad. We're not going there. Ukraine rejoices Russia withdrawals. Zenith, okay. After the attack with the ATACMS cluster munitions on air bases in Russian-occupied areas, I'm not going to try to pronounce those names, that's Luhansk and Bryansk. Both Ukraine and British intelligence have speculated about significant damage to helicopters. Suspected that this attack could lead Russia to withdraw troops from the front and to protect them from further missile strikes. You can go read out this thing if you want. It's an interesting read, okay? Z News, all right. Olivia Brown 7 hours ago. You can check that article out. Check it out. Georgia says it will appeal a judge's redistricting decision, but won't seek to pause ruling for now. Of course they're going to, because the Republicans control that. If the Democrats were in control and they had this thing, look, this kind of stuff goes on left and right. And in my opinion, this is my strongly held opinion. Redistricting every 10 years is constitutionally mandated based on population, right? Within these states. It should not be done at the hands of the legislature of that time, whether that legislature is Democratic or Republican. It needs to be taken out of the hands of government and put into a nonpartisan group of people who actually decide this for the state. It does not need to be a partisan decision. Take it away from these partisan infights. This partisan fight every 10 years to go in and redistrict according to the population sizes and all that kind of stuff. It needs to be removed from the political sphere because it's just asinine. All right, so let me just skip on. That's my Pontification for that point. Top law firms issue warning to law schools and students. We have zero tolerance for, this is mediate. Mediate. That's it. Isaac Schur wrote this. I know that name. Anyway, top law firms issue warning to law school students. We have zero tolerance for the anti-Semitism on display on campus. Well, I'm sorry. The top law firms are wrong. Those students have every right to show their anti-Semitic ways. All right. It's the point I made earlier about becoming violent about it. That's the distinction. You can't stop them from speaking. This kind of activism on campus has been going on for hundreds of years, and on every academic, whatever the academy is around the country and around the world, really. That kind of activism is always there, has been. We've got history of it in this country that goes back a long way. I did a little piece recently and identified it from 1880 up to 1970. And the trends and how all the people were up in arms over certain things throughout time like that, okay? All right, so no, this law school is wrong in saying that you cannot display your anti-Semitism on campus. You can. I disagree with it vehemently, okay? But you still have the right to say it, as much as it kind of goes, ugh. All right, skip on. Next. From the river to the sea. Okay, what does the Palestinian slogan really mean? Okay, well, we all know what that slogan really means. This is from Al Jazeera. That means the elimination of Israel. That's what the phrase means. Lithium field to rival South America and Australia. Okay, yeah, that's an advertisement. Religion of peace. Survey reveals white evangelicals more supportive of political violence. Well, yeah, I mean, you got somebody who just tried to stir it up a minute ago. We go on down. Washington racers seek state action against USA Cycling's new trans athlete policy. I've got some opinions on that one too, and a lot of people are going to disagree with me on it. I understand, because I have been there, of the impact of estrogen and taking over a long period of time, more than just a year or two, the impact that has on your muscle strength. I understand that. But I went through male puberty to get here. Now, by no means am I an athletic superstar, not even athletic at all. I couldn't even tell you what they mean when they say certain things in different sports like football or European football or whatever. I just don't care less. Unless, of course, it's an Army-Navy football game, in which case I do watch that. That's a religious thing for me. But if you went through male puberty, then your body has been adapted to testosterone from then. It's true that when you stop testosterone, and not just cover it up, but stop it, when you get onto estrogen, your muscle mass goes down. All this stuff kind of drops off and tapers down. A lot of that it declines quite a bit. And I actually think that if you've been through male puberty, you have no business being out here competing on teams that are cis women. Okay. And usually what's happening is people who are doing it are trying, they really want to compete. And I understand all those things because that's what they do. That's how they socialize. That's how they show themselves and prove themselves, is through this kind of competitive atmosphere in these sports and things. But I'm going to tell you, if you're out there doing that, and then the end result, and you know that the end result is going to be controversial, especially today, then please be considerate of other people. Don't just think of yourself when you go out there and do that, because obviously that's what's going on. But if you, like I said, if you've gone through male puberty, you have no business competing against women. I don't care whether you're top ranked in the male side or not top ranked in mid-grade or whatever. Stop already. You're hurting everybody by doing that. And yeah, there's a reason and a place to fight. But right now, in these days and times, all you're doing is hurting everybody in the community. Stop thinking of yourself. Think of the bigger picture. Ukraine's top commanders refuse orders to advance against Putin in huge blow to war effort. U.S. Daily Express, I don't know what that's about. Just go skip on through. Let's go on down. We'll get to the bottom of this. Court fights to prevent Trump from running again for the White House. It turns to Minnesota. Okay, Colorado's doing it today, I believe. Case is being heard today. Smug, confident, and 100% wrong. Under fire for calling Hunger Games. Okay, well, whatever. I'm not going there. All right, so that's the news wrap up for today. And let me stop sharing, and we'll jump back over to the other side of the screen and go back to here. Let me find you again. Right there you are. Thanks for watching, everyone. Appreciate it. So let's take a look. Let me see where this is. Hi. All right, so what we want to talk about next, let's jump over to Twitter and go check out the Twitter space, okay? The Twitter space. Twitter space. Let me refresh the page. Let's see if we have anything else in here. Okay. All right, so, yeah. All right. It says, this is from American Principles Project. Okay, so you look at children should be able to grow up without having gender ideology and sexuality forced on them. It's not forced on them. I don't know who the hell they think they are. I mean, they are controlling the narrative here, and they're creating a narrative that's false. For one thing is a gender ideology. No. I mean, even these people at American Principles Project have a gender, and they didn't get the gender because of some ideology. Ideology implies you have a choice in it. No, it's, no. And sexuality? Really? Bullshit. Protect children's innocence. Okay. American Principles Project. Just stop already. Lives of TikTok. Let's see. I stood in Tarawona. I stood in a Penn State. It refers to Hamas terrorists as freedom fighters and calls the October 7th attack glorious, joyful, and powerful. Tara thinks beheading babies. Okay, no. I know about libs of TikTok have just gone off the deep end. But anyway, for this person, she has every right to say that. She has every right to say that. When she crosses a line, is as if she says, go after a certain group of people. Go after them. You need to kill them. You need to do this. You need to harm them. You need to follow them. All that kind of stuff. When it gets to that point, you've gone too far. But she has a right to say these things. As stupid as they are, she has a right to say it. We cannot pick and choose the speech that we like or dislike and then decide against it. We can't do it, folks. It's just, I mean, if you do it, that's a slippery slope right straight into complete censorship. We're not going there. I'm not. All right, let me see. No student should be, let me see, who is this? AFH, what is this? Cancer survivor, heavy rock, fave singer Alice Cooper, fave actress Marilyn Monroe. Well, okay, well, I can see that. All right. All right, so. Not really. Okay, I'm not going to jump into that. I called it. I said they'd start calling Hamas freedom fighters. Yeah, well, that's, I mean, they're entitled to use those words. They're wrong, but they're entitled to use those words, folks. Can't shut off the conversation. Okay, well, there's a lot of stupid comments on there. I'm not going to go delve into them anymore. I can check out, let's go check out what Heritage is saying today. Heritage Foundation, where are you? Heritage Foundation, I'm following right there. What's their topic for the day? Okay. Heritage Foundation reposted Hans von Spakovsky. Oh, yes, what it is, Spakovsky. Hans von Spakovsky. Those filing lawsuits to try to remove Trump from their state ballots are ignoring the final sentence of Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which they are supposedly basing their case on. Okay, I haven't looked at it. I'm not going to reply to that. The fact there has never been a convention of states called to propose amendments to the Constitution means that most Americans are unaware that we the people have this power. Well, that is true. and need not rely on Congress to initiate it. Convention of States, breaking a few days ago, Vice President Heritage Institute for Constitutional Government shed light on the often overlooked power. Okay. Dr. Kevin Roberts, President of Heritage Foundation and of Heritage Action, it doesn't say that there, endorses Convention of States and an Article 5 convention. Oh, really? Really? What do you hope to get from out of that, huh? And what do you hope to do? Let me just put that in there. And what do you hope to do with COS? Okay. Yeah, I'll reply to some of these things because I think it's fun just to see if they ever reply back. So far, no one's ever replied back. Taliban, Tehran, Hamas, yeah. Is there a terrorist group Biden administration won't fund? National Defense Heritage former Deputy Assistant to President. Okay, yeah, let me just follow you around, just Robert Greenway, just to see. Okay, now I'm not going to spend any more time on that one. Let's go check out. See what Matt Walsh is doing. How's that? Yeah, I know you can go do this yourself too, but I get a fun little take on it. Anyway, so right here, I love this awareness from Matt. He's theocratic fascist. Fed up with talking heads gives you a no holds barred take on today's culture, religion, and political issues. Well, okay, all right. Okay. Let's go on over. Let's find something else out here. Let's go back to this and go up here and search. We're going to search for Rufo. Let's see what Christopher Rufo is up to today. Writer, senior fellow. Okay, today is the day. My book. I was July 18th. That's a pinned comment. We'll back out of that one. We'll look down to the next 25 minutes ago. Tomorrow, 1 p.m. PT Pacific time. I'll be hosting an X space on how the right can defeat woke capital, featuring libs of TikTok. Okay, Keenan Peachy, Matt Nee, and a surprise guest. Set a reminder now. You know what? I think I'll do that. It's 1 p.m. tomorrow Pacific time. Okay, I'm going to set a reminder. Let's see what the reminder set. Okay. And if they allow it to go, I don't know who Keenan PG is. I know who lives at TikTok, our greatest writer in America. Wife supremacist. Anyone know what that actually means? Domestic extremist? Oh, well, this could be interesting. Let me just follow this Peachy Keenan person. I'm not following that one. Let me see. Go here. I want to see who this is. Am I following that group right there? Anyway, I have fun over here on this stuff. I actually like to get down into the weeds with them, and I can do that. I can certainly do that. We'll be doing a panel discussion for the first hour, then taking audience questions in the second. Oh. Oh my gosh. I gotta find, this stuff is fun. And here's the thing, I refuse to go high with any of these people anymore because their tactics are not on the high side, and they are dead serious about removing us from the public square, folks. They're serious about it. If you don't see that as a serious threat to us, and you just think that if we ignore them, they'll go away. Nope, they will not go away, folks. They will not go away. You're not going to be able to do it like that. I don't know if I'm actually showing anybody what's going on over there. Let me just go present really quickly. Let's share screen. We'll take a look at what's going on. All right, so right now I'm just sharing screen with Christopher Rufo. I thought I was sharing. My apologies. Tomorrow he's going to have this thing, how the right can defeat woke capital. We'll see. First hour, they're going to be talking, panel discussion for the first hour, then take audience questions. The second hour, it looks like UT Austin. I did start following this person because what's wrong? I'm going to just say, what's wrong with DE&I? What's right or what's wrong with DE&I? I like to hear people's responses because they're typically just asinine. All right. Ba-da-ba-bum. We must address the risk presented by AI. Okay. No. This person, by the way, actually, this was interesting. I watched this yesterday too. This person actually calls for destruction of Israeli people and Jews all around the world. And he goes on to say, look, let's watch what he says. Just read the caption down at the bottom. Just the first time, and there will be more, because we have the determination, the resolve, and the capabilities to fight. We will have to pay a price. Yeah, we are called a nation of martyrs, so we're proud to sacrifice martyrs. Of course you are, you stick people. Of course they are. Folks, don't y'all see that? This is what Hamas wants. That's what Palestinian people are to Hamas, folks. It's potential martyrs. Go line up right out there. You can stand in front while we step back here and lob these little tiny rockets over into Israel. And then when Israel comes back to respond, we got all of these civilian potential martyrs out there in the front. Palestinian people, please stop these people. They're killing you. They're oppressing you, and you don't even seem to know it. But some of you do. Anyway, oh my God, yes. Anyway, it just boggles my mind. Replying to, I don't remember what we actually said, but I got drug into that one. Let me see if I can figure out what this was. Balanced budget amendment and term limits. Anyway, so somewhere in there, I got pulled into a conversation with Heritage and everything. So we'll see how that turns out, folks. Going back over here to StreamYard. There we go. All right. So good you're here with us. So good you're here with us. So what's the biggest topic today that you want to talk about? Well, I really wish we could get some people coming in and chatting. And if you'd like to, you can do so. Let me give you the invitation to show up over here. Let me copy this, and then I'm going to paste it down here in the comment section. Come in and talk with us. I don't care. There you go. There you go. You can come in and say hi if you'd like. Love to have you in here. Or, you can just stay over in the comments and comment there too. I don't really mind. Having trouble connecting. StreamYard, please check your internet connection. What's up with my internet connection? I don't know about that, but it says I'm still out there. So anyway, we'll leave it at that. So let's go take a look at the favorite topic that I like to go look and check into each day, every day. Let's go check out Project 2025 again. We're going to project2025.org, and we'll share the page here so that you can keep up with where I am and what's going on. Share screen, and we're going to go to Project 2025. I do have some other big news. I mentioned this yesterday, actually. I'm going to be in D.C. November 19th, 20th, and 21st. I may stay longer than the 21st. I don't know yet. I think that's Thanksgiving weekend, too, so it's going to be really, I need to get back home for that. But I may stay just a little longer. I don't know. I can move my flight around a little if I need to. But that's the case at this point. Definitely going to be there talking with, or at the VA, the Center for Minority Veterans at the VA. Our guest speaker will be the Honorable Sean Skelly, Acting Deputy Secretary of Defense for Personnel and Readiness. And Sean, this event is for the Transgender Day of Remembrance that the Center for Minority Veterans is hosting and leading inside VA. And I'll be right there at the main office with VA in D.C. It's on Vermont Avenue there in D.C. near the White House. I'd love to be able to meet up with anyone else who's in that area. I'd love to have you on with us. And, we need to sit down and talk. There's a bunch of stuff going on that all of the organizations in this country who stand up for equal rights, who stand up for justice, and that all of us deserve the blessings of liberty. If you stand up for that thing for all Americans, not just a select few, we need to meet. We need to meet and talk because these are dangerous days, folks. If the Heritage Foundation gets to do what this Project 2025 actually says, which, they've already had Ron DeSantis on as their first guest on episode 1 of Mandate for Leadership series. So Ron DeSantis was on there. It was a Friday a week ago. And they're going to do it. They got $22 million in the pocket in just this organization alone to make it happen. And probably more than that, because I know that there are 70 plus organizations who have signed on to this and contributed to it, as well as more than 400 individuals contributed to this project. And there's a lot of buy-in. You can actually see this thing taking place across the whole country. They're actually walking and talking and breathing this narrative. The candidates are. The media sources that are over on the right are pushing these things, because all you have to do, I mean, 1 week or for a week or two, you see one topic that gets permeated across every platform there is on the right, and the candidates start spouting bullshit too. You see all of that stuff taking place over there. I mean, you can see it. And then the next period of time, they shift to another part. And it's all from this narrative, because you've got all these organizations lined up in support of it. So guess what's going to happen? They're all kind of talking from the same page, folks. But why should we be worried about this thing? Well, I mean, go read it yourself. Go here. Go to this site. Go to project2025.org. That's project2025.org and read it yourself. Go right here. When you get on the page, click on policy. And then just scroll down the page, go right on down. Well, we can pontificate about the words they use and the way they say things. Don't buy the book. Let me put a big X right there. Do not buy the book. I wonder, can I have a marker or something that would show up on this thing? No, if you can or not. Da-da-da-da. Anyway, so go here, open the read the mandate button, click on that, and you'll get to see exactly what they want to do. I mean, they tell you exactly what it is. Then that thing, and you don't even have, the whole document is 920 pages long, okay? It's a tome. It really is. But scattered throughout that document are ways to destroy America. Every American is under attack with this document. I mean, if you're a senior citizen, and you're on Medicaid, or you're getting Social Security or anything like that, or a younger person getting Social Security or whatever, they're looking to cut all that. And they've always been looking to do that ever since Social Security was formed back in the 30s. I mean, they've been doing this, going after Social Security. But, you know, they're trying to cut back all of those so-called entitlements. Those things aren't entitlements. You actually pay into them. Yeah, if you've been in the working field very long, you've been paying into it. It's your money. And even if you weren't paying directly into it, the tax money is still your money that would underpin it if that's the case. But what happens is they typically take money from and don't give money back to. Why? It's a nefarious plan, really obviously stated. You know, something that they can take money out of it, and then in a couple of years down the road, they'll go, it's going insolvent. But you did it. You took the money out. You didn't put it back in. And then here you are now claiming, see, I told you it's going insolvent. Really? Jeez, folks. How dumb do you think we are? Okay, let me scroll down through. I'm going down to the bottom of this. I think that's what I wanted to do. No, I didn't. Okay. You can go into Project 2025, and you can actually go in here and do a word search if you'd like. Click the little magnifying glass icon over here in the corner, do a word search. You can type in something like transgender or just gender, whichever one you want to do, and you'll find out that it gives you the count of how many times it occurs. But this is in the foreword, in the second paragraph in the foreword. Kevin Roberts, Dr. Roberts, early American historian, former leader of the Texas version of this organization. Yeah, it says a lot right there, doesn't it? Anyway, so this is what he says right here. This is the third sentence in the second paragraph. Look at America under the ruling cultural elite today. Inflation is ravaging family budgets. Yes, it is. That's true. Drug overdose deaths continue to escalate. Yes, it is. That's true. And children suffer the toxic normalization of transgenderism, with drag queens and pornography invading their public school, their school libraries. They want you to jump to the same conclusion that since the first two are true, this third one must be true. The third one is false. For one thing, we aren't an ideology, are we? Are you an ideology? Your existence, are you just an ideology all by yourself? I mean, really? No. An ideology is something that you get to decide that you want to be a part of, like, conservatism or liberalism, those things. Those are ideologies. But transgenderism, that's wrong, period, flat out wrong. Transgender people aren't an ideology. We do have lots of ideological perspectives and thinking within the ranks of this community. I mean, there are conservative transgender people. There are liberal transgender people. There are, just like in any population, in the population in general, in the whole population of the United States, you're going to find people who are communists, socialists, Nazis, neo-Nazis, fascists, neo-fascists. You're going to find conservatives, Republicans, Democrats, liberals, independents, libertarians, all those ideologies. Those things are represented in all the populations, regardless of whether it's LGBTQ plus or everyone else who's not. So, I mean, it's in all of this, in all the populations. And to say stuff like this, the toxic normalization, really? No. No. That whole third part right there is just asinine and wrong. All right, let's skip down to the next one. Let's go. Next point. And this would be on which page? This is page 5. But I'm going to back up to page 4 because this is where my favorite stuff is right here that I like to point out every chance I can. And this is the foreword, by the way. This is the foreword that was written by Dr. Roberts. And Dr. Roberts is absolutely wrong to state this stuff, but yet he knows that this is the narrative that can motivate people to go out and vote. And he knows this is the narrative that can actually motivate people to go out and go from all the different ideological views and go support this. So here's what he says. Let me just highlight this. I'm going to go right here. We'll read this part and then we'll just have another conversation. I don't really know. This is the part that I find a hard time getting past because it's just so atrocious. But it's also militant. It's also that they are very determined to do this, and they have put their money where their mouth is, with $22 million set aside to make this happen, with getting buy-on from the conservative presidential candidates. And here's something I want to make very clear. While they would love to have the House and the Senate in the palm of their hands too, in 2025, in the elections of 2024, as much as they would love to have that, this project is not dependent on that. This project is not dependent on it. Project 2025 does not depend on them taking the House and the Senate. It only depends on them taking the presidency. And the presidency is over that executive branch of our government, the third leg of our government, right? Everybody knows that part. We know that. But they're approaching it from the Unitarian president theory, Unitarian presidential theory or something like that. There's a theory about that. And basically what that says is the president has authority, complete authority over everything that takes place within the executive branch of the U.S. government. And so that's the theory they're operating from. But at the same time, they're going to implement Schedule F, which would mean that all federal employees are at-will employees, meaning they can fire you if they don't like you, or if you're in a place where they want to put somebody in that they would prefer to have. That's the first thing. I mean, if they get in the office and get sworn in on January the 20th, 2025. So that's the first thing they're going to try to do is push through Schedule F. And look, it's going to come there. If they take it, they're going to do Schedule F. And all the people who are in federal employment right now in the administrative state, that fourth leg basically that everybody talks about sometimes, which does need to be smaller but doesn't need to be wiped out because those are your experts. We need to rely on people to know what the hell they're doing, right? But anyway, and Congress is incapable of doing all that. There's just not enough people in Congress to be able to do what, I don't know, 20,000 people, or there's more than that, but are doing over in the administrative side of things, the executive branch. House can't do it. And they would still have to create a group to be able to handle each one of the groups that are over there. So it'd just be defeating the whole freaking purpose. But anyway, so that's what they say. The next conservative president must make the institutions of American civil liberty or civil society hard targets for woke culture warriors. This starts with deleting the term sexual orientation. Let me blow this up so that you can see it a little bit more clearly. Sexual orientation, gender identity, everything that has SOGI with it, and the research term that we use, the acronym for that. Diversity, equity, inclusion, all the DE&I stuff, gender, equity, quality, awareness, sensitivity, abortion, reproductive health, reproductive rights, and then the comma. And any other term used to deprive Americans of their First Amendment rights. And what they're saying right there, that the people who are identified by these labels up here at the top, all the ones, like SOGI and DE&I and stuff like that, all those people up there, they are protected by the First Amendment. And you know how many Americans that would fall under that? It would be a large percentage of the American population. Large percentage, American population. You don't have First Amendment rights, folks, according to these people. But what do they want to do? They want to take that out of every federal rule, agency, regulation, contract, grant, regulation, piece of legislation that exists, period, statement, emphatically said. Then they go on to say pornography, and they conflate pornography and mix it all together in there with transgender ideology. Horrible choice of words, obviously, and incorrect in a huge way. But what they're trying to do is put transgender people over here and with sexualization of children and pornography. They put them all in the same sentence for a reason. Most people know, most reasonable people know these things are not true statements, but nonetheless, I mean, if you can say it enough, people might believe it long enough. But then they've been tying the pornography and sexualization of children with, any kind of person, any group of people that they don't like. I mean, you can go back actually to racial situations in the history of this country. Back in the 50s and 40s and stuff like that, when they were talking about racial integration and things in schools, and everybody was riled up against it and all that, there were comments then about this very thing with Black Americans. That's all they're into, all this kind of stuff. And then they got into then they moved it over into going after gay people like Alan Turing. And they went after Alan so bad that they decided to put him in an institution and try to use electricity to drive it out, shock it out, being gay. No, not happening. Never happened. I mean, it just never will work, period. And they go down through here and talk about stuff that I really love to see the way these words are written, but they're wrong nonetheless. Has no claim to First Amendment protection. Again, there we go. And they say that its purveyors are child predators, misogynistic exploiters of women. Right there. Their product, I'm not going to squeeze that. The people who produce and distribute it should be in prison. Educators, librarians, classed as registered sex offenders, telecommunication technology firms that facilitate its spread should be shuttered. They're telling you what they're going to do. And if you pretend that this is not coming for you, for most of America, then you have got to, I just don't know, folks. I don't know what to think about that, because heritage is not a joke to play around with. They've got the money, they've got the time, they've got the talent, they've got the resources to make this happen. And if we sit back here and do nothing, then it will happen. It will be done. And what they're doing in this document, by the way, and throughout this thing, let me just see, if I type in the word church right here, let's see how many references there are to church in this document. And it's going to go counting on down through here, okay? It stopped at, I don't know if it stopped at 9 right there or what, but anyway. Uh-oh, somebody's calling. Hey, give me 1 second. The VA is calling me. Hold on. I got to put you on pause. Take the VA. Well, no. Somebody actually hung up on that. Okay. So anyway, it's in here. It's all throughout this darn thing. Everywhere you go, there's references to religion and religious freedom. One and one is 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Da, 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 da. That's going to be scattered all throughout this darn document. All right, so this document, by the way, is taking evangelical Christian nationalism, dominionism, and putting it on steroids and making this whole country a religious, theocratic, authoritarian, fascist nation. That's what this does. And if you're willing to sit back and let that happen to you, shame on you and shame on us. Okay, let me stop sharing. Let's go back over to StreamYard, and here we go again. Just, anyway. We've got to fight, folks. You can't sit around and do nothing anymore. Come on, come on, come on. Anyway, so I'm going to call it a day at this point and end the session here because all we've done is just talk about the same stuff we've talked about every day. And I know all of you are familiar with that. If you've been watching anytime, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say, hey, Project 2025 is the monster we need to attack. It's the monster that we need to put a big spotlight on to show that it's going to impact every American in this country one way or another. And we've got to put this, make it such a big spotlight that people see it and they actually decide, oh my gosh, this thing's horrible. Do you really want a Christian, theocratic, nationalist, authoritarian, fascist organization plan running the country? Do you want that? No separation of church and state? You want that? Really? Do you think that's valid? That's what they're trying to do here. Besides just eliminating all references to us, to all the minorities in this country, they want to remove every reference to all of us in this country. But not only that, they want to stop all the research associated with it too. For instance, with SOGI or DNI, or minority veterans or LGBT veterans or, offices of diversity, equity, inclusion, all those kind of things. They want them gone because I guess it just hurts their little bitty feelings so badly they can't take it. And, they're pushing for it. That's what this document, Project 2025, does. It does. So you're going to stand there and pretend it's not a problem? It doesn't matter if you acknowledge the problem that's in front of you or not. If it is not stopped, it will come about, and it will take generations to undo what they do. Now, yes, I will tell you this, yes, it will be litigated. All these kind of things that they take, the actions they take will be litigated, and it will be sent to court, and that's what they know that too. They're well aware that that's the process here, but that's not really what it's all about. The idea is to get it out in front of people and then also maybe get it up to this conservative, heavily weighted conservative Supreme Court. And they're thinking that they have the buy-in already from there. So this is going to be a huge problem for us if we don't stand up and do something. But let me say this too, that there is light at the end of this tunnel, but it depends upon all of us coming together and standing up and saying, this is wrong. And I'm not just talking about, liberal Americans or conservative Americans or LGBT Americans or any of that. I'm talking about Americans, all of us. We need to know that this is a real threat, and we need to put a stop to it. And we can. We can do that. And with that, I hope you have a great afternoon. Come back in at 6 this evening at 6 p.m. Eastern, and we'll do it again. And have a good one.